This is the Today with Tally podcast.
Folks, we're being joined by Lucretia Hughes Kluken. Now, Lucretia is an advocate, folks, and she is a fierce advocate, a fearless advocate who has testified in front of Congress on Capitol Hill. Lucretia lost her son when he was 19 years old back in 2016 due to a shooting that occurred when he was at a party playing some dominoes with friends. And one thing led to another. A convicted felon with a weapon opened fire on her son, Emmanuel, and it took his life. It tragically took his life. And Lucretia Hughes has become an advocate that, again, has taken her to the steps of Capitol Hill to advocate for gun rights, and has become an activist and has turned a negative into a positive for what she has endured. Now, Lucretia, you've been through it, and not just been through it, but you've walked the walk and you've talked the talk. So, I mean, you're very strong when it comes to that. So, I mean, if you wouldn't mind, maybe we could speak on Emmanuel here for a moment.
Well, I cannot tell you what he was actually doing a couple of days before, because he was living in Statesville, North Carolina. He used to, at a certain period of time when you can no longer handle a child and you feel like they'll be better suited with another family member to get them out of the situation that was getting them in trouble, you do what's necessary as parents and you get them out of there. So we sent him to Statesville, North Carolina, to stay with aunts and uncles up there. He completely changed his life around. He finally got into the rap industry, was opening up concerts for T.I., Deborah Cox. He was doing a great job, finally getting ready to be a first-time dad. She was getting ready to deliver a month before he passed away. But the only thing that I know that happened April the 2nd of 2016 is that we just got a phone call in the middle of the night around about 11 o'clock from my nephew at that time, saying that man was dead. And I was on one side of the house getting ready to go to bed, but there's a scream that something happened that is not. I just heard a soul-piercing scream is what I heard in the middle of the night. And I jumped up and ran across the house. And my ex-husband at that time was just rolling on the ground and saying, Emmanuel is dead. He is gone. He is gone. Emmanuel is gone. So I snatched the phone up and I was like, okay, what the hell is happening? And they was like, well, we just got a phone call that man was shot. And they didn't receive it from the police department. They received it from friends at the party. So by the time that I snatched the phone, I immediately jumped on Facebook because I'm calling Emmanuel phone, can't get it, calling Statesville, can't get anybody. So I went on Facebook and I just asked a couple of words, is my son dead? That was it. Is my son dead? And the answer was absolutely he was at that point. But by the time all that hit, my other kids found out, because Manuel's was the youngest. He was 19. And I have 4 older kids at that time. I don't understand. I don't know if you've ever seen Revenge. And there was no clarity of a mind. You're just going to go get revenge. I don't care. You're not going to stop me. I'm going to go and I'm going to find out who killed my brother. Well, that's what my kids, they was plotting to do that. They was plotting to take the guns and go drive straight from Georgia, straight to North Carolina in the middle of the night and hunt this boy down. What we found out at that time is that that man was a part of a gang. Did not know that, but it's called a jump-in ceremony. And if you don't know what gangs are, don't. Well, jump-in is when another little boy or girl wants to join a gang. Well, they're going to see how tough the tough can get. So you basically are getting beat up by a group of people, just the gang. So I guess Emmanuel thought it was going to be enough. That's enough. That's enough. He tapped out. So man stopped the fight. Something you don't do is stop the fight when in a jump in. So I guess man and this other little boy, they started squabbling and started fighting themselves, and he got his ass whooped. So what do a coward do? He let Satan indwell in them. So he waited a whole week to go seek his revenge on my son at a house party. He decided to walk in there until men come outside so they could finish their fight. Emmanuel refused to go outside, so he took a gun out. and put a bullet in his head. But he was a coward, and he went on the run for 2 solid weeks. Cops didn't know where he was. No one really knew what he was. So it took my son's friends to get on Facebook, plastered that boy's face everywhere, and told him, you got to set a period of time to turn yourself in. If not, we gonna come and find you. And the next thing I know, he turned himself in. He made it all the way to New York State, but he turned himself in when he knew that man friends was not about to play. So they was gonna exact revenge on him, on that guy. Right now, he's doing 25 years, and I could care less.
Premeditated murder. He's doing 25 to life. You lost your son April 2nd of 2016 due to gun violence. Let me tell you about Patriot Homes right here in the greater Houston metropolitan area, folks. These guys are out doing the hard work. It's kind of hard to please people in today's world, but let me tell you, Cody Dawson and his family business stand behind everything they do.
Custom kitchens, bathrooms, master bathrooms, whole home renovations, outdoor patios, home additions, outdoor kitchens.
They are your one-stop shop for everything that you want to do in your home. It's always nice to know that you got somebody that can come in and give you a great price. Not only give you a great price, but be on time, on budget, reliable. All you got to do is just go to patriothomestx.com. That's patriothomestx.com. They are building your vision with pride and precision. Exactly. Because a lot of people would look at you and say she's against guns.
No.
Because of what happened. And so she's going to come out, and the media is going to use you as a puppet, if you will, to go out there and to do their agenda. Use you to go out there and preach on behalf of a bunch of lobbyists and a bunch of members of Congress who want to see guns go away in this country. But you did the exact opposite. You say, no, my son was murdered by a gun, and I am now going to stand up and fight for law-abiding citizens to own them, because the gun didn't kill Emmanuel. It was the monster behind the trigger, a known gang member who took my son's life in a premeditated way, went and ran for 2 weeks, got caught, and is now doing 25 to life. Now, what puts you on the course of waking up one day and saying, I want to become a gun rights activist?
I grew up in Lula, Georgia. It's rural, then rural, then rural, then rural country. That's why I say the hoods and the woods ain't that far apart. If I'm shooting at the age of 6, 7, and 8 off the back porch with my dad, do you think I'm gonna stop just because some liberals tell me I need to give up my gun rights? My dad taught me safety. If the boys can do it, the girls can do it. My dad, who was Panama, Vietnam. My other dad was a Navy. My other one was literally a Black Panther that helped form the movement in the 70s. You think they taught me to give over my guns? I've never been raised with weak people in my life. I've always been told what my rights are, fight for your rights. And if you're not, you're going to get them taken over. So I've never been raised any other type of way. So when people saying you forgot your history, no, I don't want to be another Emmett Till. I don't want to be another Tuskegee Airman. I don't want to be another Rosewood or Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I'm going to protect my own self. So when people was like, you don't know your history, yeah, I know it well enough to not to be a free bird and not protect my own. I know what the KKK is. I know how they was founded. I know why the NRA was founded. I'm not stupid. So to be indoctrinated with some foolishness, that's why I do a show, so I'm not easily gullible. And when I did go on ABC and CBS and NBC after I testified on Congress, I perfected the resting bitch face. If you're gonna have me on your show, you're not gonna overtalk me. If you're asking me about my points about gun, I don't care about what you gotta say. It's an inanimate object. So that gun didn't jump up in that thug's hand. He was a known criminal and a felon. The gun and the laws on the books should have had him already tampered down. But since they like to let out felons and they have no cash bond and they don't care about people getting robbed or brutalized or raped or anything else that goes against the law, then I guess the law-abiding citizens going to take the law into their own hands instead of waiting almost 5 minutes while they're dead and gone on the ground.
Sure. I guess I was wanting to get more to the point of, were you a gun rights advocate prior to the death of your son?
I didn't even know what that meant. I did not know what any of this stuff meant at that time in my life, because I thought guns was your rights regardless. I didn't know about the 20,000 pieces of legislation that's attacking our Second Amendment until one day, about almost 7 years ago, in 2000 and what was it, Dave? 17. I was invited because my stepdad had just passed away. I was invited to a gala at the NRA convention that was downtown Atlanta by the the Black Coalition of Republican Party of Georgia. So I was not going to go. And my stepdad had passed away the day before. I'm the only political right-leaning advocate in my whole entire family. Everybody else Democrats. And one of my cousins, who is not political whatsoever, she said, "Don't you got a gala to go to?" "No, I'm not going." "What you mean you're not going to this gala?" She said, "It's in the NRA, the gun people." She said, "They invited you." She said, "You're going to get dressed. Everybody here with mama. You get to the Omni and you go and have some fancy food and talk about guns." So I went by myself, depressed that day. I'm going in there and I'm walking around and I'm seeing diamonds, pearls, dresses, high heels. Oh my. So I'm in there by myself and I'm just going around talking to people. I don't know who these people are. I'm going around talking to people. So Wayne LaPierre, I guess you official photographer, some white guy walked up to me and said, "Who are you?" "Nobody." He said, No, you're not a nobody. He said, "I've been watching you walk around this whole entire place, walking up to people, shaking hands. Who are you?" And I said, "Well, I ran for state representative, blah, blah, blah." He said, "I thought you was somebody important." It just shocked me. I was like, "Nah, I lost." He said, "You still won." He said, "You see that little skinny white short guy over there? Yeah, go talk to him. I give you $10. I said, "Bet." So I walked up to Wayne LaPierre, not knowing who this guy was. It was like 10 people around him trying to catch his attention. So I just sat there and waited my turn, walked up to him, said, "My name is Lucretia Hughes. My son was bloop, bloop, bloop." He had said within a minute and a half, "Pen? Who got a pen? I want to work with you. I want to work with you." He said, "You ever flew before?" No. He said, "If you really left Georgia?" "Not really, sir." He said, I'll reach out to you." 6 months later, he reached out to me. He said, "You remember who I am?" I said, "Yes, sir, I do." He said, "I'm very serious when I said you got a story and a message, and more people need to know who you are and where you came from and what you got to say." So in early of April of 2018, I'm sitting outside the courthouse, a whole nother life-changing event. And I get a phone call from his right-hand woman, Miss Millie. "Lucretia." "Yes." "Hey, Miss Millie, you sitting out in front of a courthouse right now?" "Yes, ma'am." "We know what you're dealing with. You need security around you?" "No, I don't." She said, "What you doing next week?" I said, "Nothing that I know of." "Well, you're coming to Dallas, Texas." "How am I gonna get there?" "You ever flown?" "No." "Well, we paying for your tickets. We know what you're going through right now. Handle that business. And if you need us to bring security to your house, we got you." And the next thing I know, that door closed. And the next following week, my husband now took me to the airport. Got on the first airplane ride. First person when I walked into Dallas, Texas to the NRA convention was Alan West. Alan West said, "You Lucretia?" "Yes, sir." "Congratulations." "Congratulations for what?" He said, "You are now nominating the board of directors of the NRA." "Excuse you? What that mean?" He said, "Don't worry about it. We'll clue you in." His Ennis. He said, "Here's Ennis. Here's Willis Lee. Here's Ted Nugent. Here's Dean Cain. Here's here." And I'm sitting here like, who the hell are these people? Oh, I guess I better go in here and eat some fancy food. And 7 years later, I'm still on the outreach committee of the NRA. I'm still a part of the NRA. And that weekend, I met a woman by the name of Diana Mueller who changed my life. Woo! Woo, when I tell you that woman changed my life. She bought me my first tube of lipstick. She got me my first outfit to do a commercial. She taught me about the laws. She taught me how to go to Congress. She allowed me to go to the Congress 4 consecutive times to advocate. When I tell you, God has opened up so many doors, I'm about to cry. So many great people in my life. I can't let these people down. I don't care what you feel about Wayne LaPierre. I don't care what you feel about guns. I don't care what you feel about our rights. These people taught me the right way, and I just want to make them proud. While I continue to stand up for my Second Amendment, and while I continue getting out the truth to people that look like me, people that look like you, but don't have a clue what is really going on in the United States. And that is where we're supposed to be teachers. That's where we're supposed to be the advocates. This is where me being a grandma step in to tell other females, yo, don't go this direction. You know, if you're a victim of sexual abuse, child abuse, domestic abuse, I'm here to help you because I've been there and somebody helped me out. So now with the new ones, and we know that the women are the biggest gun advocates and the biggest owners of the fastest selling owners of guns and gun training. Well, I'm a female. Then I'm supposed to talk to these females. You're the man because it's God, man, woman, and child. You're the protector. You're the teacher. You're the leader. So I'm like, Tally, what we going to do? Because there's the hood and the wood ain't that far apart. There's so many there that we can be talking to. Let's not worry about the upper echelon. God is going to open up that door when we're supposed to talk to them. But we're supposed to be grabbing people that look just like us, that don't have no idea what we're talking about, and snatching them to stand right beside us so we can make our own table, so we can have our own people, so we can have this scrubs of the society, the basket of deplorables, the throwaways, the forgotten abouts, the rural folks, the hillbillies, the rednecks, the blacknecks, the thugs. We're supposed to band together because we are the ants. Those are the grasshoppers. We're not a monopoly board. We are actually the foundation of where they got their wealth.
Woo! Amen. Man, you ought to become my church pastor.
I've been running from that calling all my life. And I know what God has me down here to do. But I don't feel like I ever want to step in the pulpit because you got enough pimps and simps in the church house. If God is telling me to go out here and he said witness in his name and honest and truth and be bold, don't let your light be under a bushel. Don't let nobody continue to push you to the side because you're not welcome at their table. So if he built the wood, he built those screws, he has that steel, then he's the carpenter, just like his son was. He came out here and he built a table for us. He built that cross that we're supposed to bear on a daily. And we're supposed to hear, well done, when we leave this earth. Then we're supposed to make sure that we're equally yoked with the people that we surround ourselves with. If not, knock that dust off your feet and move to the next person.
Have you ever heard, do not mess with a God-fearing Southern woman who is a gun rights activist? You will not win that fight. And look, let's keep it biblical here. Look, we are bearing witness on history, if you will. You being a pioneer, really, in this gun rights activist movement. You are currently running for the National Board of Directors now for the NRA. And I believe we're going to find out if you are elected to this position on this national NRA board position here, in the next 60 days or so?
Well, it's the NRA convention is downtown Atlanta. And since we live maybe like 30 miles from there, this is gravy. Because a lot of these people that get these, Hunter magazines, these survivor magazines, these gun magazines, I'm just a faceless name down there. They have no idea. So, they're going to gravitate for the people that they actually know. But you're on my home turf now. And I know that the NRA convention is free. Well, I know I got a lot of family because I got 4 kids and 9 grandchildren, okay? I do a nightly show. So they told me if I need boots on the ground to get out there, I could campaign on the actual floor of the NRA. So that is what we're planning on doing. If I don't win the first round, then there's going to be about 60 of us, it says, all wearing something red, all passing out flyers. And they're telling me if I get this position, I will be the first Black woman to ever sit on this board. I mean, that's nothing to play with, because a lot of people think Black people a long time ago shouldn't have had those damn rights. When you start listening to the rhetoric from the left, it's a bunch of hogwash. All of it's hogwash. Well, David Hoggs is the vice president of the DNC. He's so against gun rights. Wait till he get a load of a woman like me, because I'm not backing down.
Man, that I would pay big money, pay-per-view, to get on a stage. Lucretia Hughes, Kluken, David Hogg. Oh, Lord of mercy for that boy. I don't think he'd know what he just ran himself into. And I guarantee he would probably not take that invitation. Now, I mean, right? I mean, if he had anybody that was working on his staff that even cared an ounce about him, they'd be like, yeah, dude, we can't do this one. She wants to go live and all. Yeah. And we all know, the whole Kamala Harris, she didn't want to do her thing live. And so they did a recording and all that's coming out, the transcripts. It's hilarious. I just love how the house of cards is falling and God is shedding light on this country once again after such a dark period in American history. But it takes special women like you to stand up and to stand in those gaps that nobody else wants to fill, and really do the job of the people as an advocate, because being an advocate is really no fun. I mean, I know it's no fun for me. I'm good at it and I'm doing it for a reason. But still, people just don't wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to become an advocate because I want to put myself through added anxiety and depression and worry and fear and all this stuff. Because
being called out your name, being demonetized, not making any money, doing it for free, putting miles on your car, motor gone out. We travel. Anytime I only go places where I'm invited, because when you walk into a room and everybody goes quiet, you're not supposed to be there. So we've been from Wisconsin to New Jersey, all the way to Texas, all the way to Florida. We've been to West Virginia, all in a Pontiac Vibe where she finally died. And what really pisses me off is somebody that called us grifters or gifters. That pisses me. Anybody want to look at my bank account? Anybody want to check our bank accounts? No one pays us. No one has ever paid us a continuous check to do any of this. We're doing it by selling our gear, selling our merchandise, USA, made in America by my mom, my husband, and I clean up behind them, or they just donate. So by the time us going through trying to save our house because of elder abuse and property fraud and signature of fraud and all the rest of this, and trying to raise tens of thousands of dollars so we could save our house and fight against reverse mortgage company and land grabs. Now we're trying to fight to save save the roof over our head and the lights to be kept on by peddling t-shirts, to be called a grifter, to be called a liar, or having someone to question your integrity, when I'm looking at the mainstream conservatives and it's like they scripted. All of them are scripted. All of them are, and I'm sick of it. So I kind of get a lot of bitchy. It's because the people that are out here doing a great job, that are doing their shows, that are out here on the front line, getting no recognitions, get no invites, unless we got to go through a gatekeeper. So I'm sick of worrying about the gatekeepers. I'm sick of worrying about who's watching me and who's not watching me, or what I'm doing. So I kind of went in there and I typed my name in on X, on Gork. And the way I'm described on AI is that I'm a mediocre person with a mediocre following that will never hit mainstream and not be acceptable with the crossover. So that kind of gut punch to me. And then I had to sit back, reevaluate myself over the weekend, pray a lot, do a lot of manual labor by pulling out weeds. And I asked my husband yesterday, I said, are we on the right path? I said, because we're barely making it. No one knows who we are. We do not get invites. No one, Facebook does pretty much shut our show down. Elon Musk, no love on X. What the hell do we keep doing in order to keep putting one foot in front of the other? So it's either I'm going to be doing this to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant, from my heavenly Father and not from man, or I'm going to continue groveling to somebody else to help us save our nation. So it's an old song in the Baptist church. If I gotta go, I'll go by myself.
A lot of information just came out there. And when you started, you were talking about saving the roof over your head. This is something that I know nothing about. Can we?
Yeah.
Can you please explain exactly what it may be that you're going through right now?
Well, his grandmother and grandfather built this property that we're on. Where we live at right now in 1983.
Who's who?
My husband, Dave,
Oh,
my
okay.
husband's Dave grandmother and his grandfather built this home from scratch, literally bought it when it was a cow patty. And now we have 7 acres, 2 beautiful homes. Well, happened in 2017 when his grandmother was 85 years old. Somebody decided to put her in a reverse mortgage contract. And if anybody know what a reverse mortgage is when you take a loan off the equity of your house. Her property never had a mortgage on it. So why would she wait till she's 85 years old? So when I got in Dave's and his grandmother's life in 2018, after my life completely changed, is when I really met my husband. I moved in so he can help take care of his grandmother. I started seeing AAG reverse mortgage mail coming in, and I ran up into an elderly lady's face with dementia and asked her, did she sign this? She had clarity of the mind to tell me she would never do something like that. So I actually believed her. She died in her bedroom, the same one that she built. She died in that mattress that she had kept for almost 35 years. So she died in 2019. So anybody knows when a reverse mortgage happens, the property either is sold or you pay off the loan. Well, we couldn't pay off a loan. My husband didn't sign that paperwork. Well, after all said and done, after battling AAG for 3 solid years, our home went up for foreclosure. Our home was sold on the courthouse steps, foreclosure. The very next day, a lady that watches the show is a pediatric brain surgeon that dabbles into real estate, said, Lucretia, what are y'all doing right now? I said, we're crying and getting ready to pack. She said, you ain't packing nowhere. She said, matter of fact, you're going to get the police involved. I said, why? She said, tell Dave to sign his name 6 times and send it to me. She called us back in 5 minutes. She said, you get the cops there right now. Your husband's signature was forged off a quitclaim deed because the title of the property was in his grandmother's name, his mother's name, and his name. So in order to get an AAG reverse mortgage, no one can be under the age of 65. So that means the only person named that could stay on the mortgage or the property was hers. Somebody forged my husband's name to get him off the property so they could put her in a fraudulent reverse mortgage. We've already raised the funds to get 2 handwriting experts. He didn't sign that paperwork. We've had to get a bonded and licensed private investigator that watches our show, digged into a financial record, did a forensic financial audit on all of their bank accounts. None of the money that quote unquote was supposed to have been taken from that mortgage went into their bank account. So we're fighting to get our property back because somebody tried to do just like what happened with the Elvis Presley house. Somebody forged a quitclaim deed and stole property. And if you're looking at what's going on across the United States, our elderly are getting their land snatched left and right from real estate fraud. And most of it is all coming out because their signatures was forged. And no one is stepping in and helping these elderly families or families at all. But since we found the proof and we know how this is actually being taking place, my mission now is when we save our property, use us as an example and save other people's land.
So let me get this right. So AAG, it looks like they came in and they preyed on vulnerable folks, and that would be your mother-in-law. In a home that was absolutely 100% paid off. So there's really no need, right, to to have that sort of loan, if you will, because that's basically what it is they're giving you money to survive on. But she was in the same mattress for 35 years. She's probably not looking to get a check because she's probably retired and she probably already receives her money in from the, for the month, and she lives off of that income. Now, when they do a reverse mortgage, they just basically say, okay, you have $150,000 of equity and your life expectancy from this date would be 15 years. So we're going to take that, we're going to divide it by 15 years, and we're going to give you a payment of $439 a month.
Nope. They gave somebody a whole entitled $150,000 off this property. But that's not all. The notary that actually signed the all three signature saying that they was bond, the loan was originated the same day that the actual quitclaim deed was signed. That's illegal by itself inside of the state of Georgia.
So where did the money go?
My husband was deposed because, like I said, we've been dealing. The house was sold on the courthouse steps, March of 2022. We're still here. So my husband was deposed last year's deposition, had to give a 6-hour deposition, December of 2023.
Wow. So you go through this insane life-changing event in 2016, and now you're literally fighting for your house right now and everything in it here just a couple of years later. I mean, that again speaks to your character. You give everything you have as a volunteer in this country for the rights of all Americans, while your back is up against the wall right now, fighting for your own life.
Don't get me crying.
No, I'm serious. That's true. That
so
right there is God.
Kind of understand the kind of conversation that we was having before, because a lot of people don't know what we go through. But the Bible also says, don't roll around like the Pharisees and throw mud all over your face and say, look at me, look at me. Either you're going to have that faith over fear, or you're going to have faith, or you're going to have fear. So our whole thing is faith. My whole life is faith over fear. Because if I didn't have people that watches the show, that went inside that paperwork, that every lawyer that we went to said that, no, y'all just gonna lose your home. You're just gonna lose your home. We had actually ABC investigation. What's his name? Gray come out here and do an investigation and saw all the paperwork. He said, you need a handwriting expert. I have went to Marjorie. I went to Jim Jordan, Owen Burgeon. I have went to Mike Collins. I have went to Byron Donalds. I have went to so many. You don't think I get in these people's faces and not tell the plight of American citizen? And it's not just me, it's happening to. There was a 80-year-old couple that's been in their home in downtown Atlanta for almost 30 years. They was just evicted. This elderly man can't afford a handwriting expert. How did we've blown through? And I said blown because I could do a lot more with $60,000 in paying lawyers and trying to prove our case. Just imagine if 80-year-olds are getting kicked out of their houses, they can't afford to get a handwriting expert. They ain't gonna be able to get a lawyer and continue paying somebody $400 an hour just to save your home. They can't do it. So what do we have to do? Well, what did God command us to do? We're supposed to protect our elderly. We're supposed to be the guardian of their lives because they was the guardian of ours. So when we do win, and one of our attorneys, he's the one that found all the fraud. He was now appointed. He is the assistant attorney general for the state of Georgia. He picked it up for free. He found 5 frauds sitting there in 5 minutes. He said, I'll take your case for free, Christian. He said, but what you're going to have is a litigating attorney because I can't do that. They cost about $400, $500 an hour. What are you going to be able to do? I said, I guess we're going to beg. I said, I guess we're going to go on our show and beg and hold marathons and beg some more and beg some. And that's what we've been doing because my husband did not sign that. And I'm telling you, I'm going to fight until we can't fight no more. And I'm going to keep groveling and begging people until we can't beg anymore.
I mean, a forensic audit will completely show that there was never any money collected. And where'd the money go? Well, that's, insert the fraud, right? On these companies and, whatever, Eagle.
Our attorney has it all.
Down. Yeah.
Our attorney, when I tell you, every time that he has represented us in court, we've won. Every time when they was wanting us to, pay rent. Nope, they ain't paying rent. They wanted us to do that. Judge said, no, we're not. Not until we get to the bottom of this. But now it's 3 years later. This is almost 6 years of our life trying to fight. And this is what our attorney said. As long as you can't afford me, and as long as you can't keep affording to fight, you lose your home.
There's so much unnecessary hardship that goes on in this country, and it makes me sick. It's like the stuff I went through, with the VA. It's like having your livelihood absolutely stripped away from you due to no fault of your own. Like, we could do so much better. And it's so unnecessary. It doesn't really need to happen at all.
We have to beg every single night. And I need to stop calling it begging, because at least we can still, keep our lights on, because people do saying, here's $5, Lucretia. Here, we bought 2 shirts. Here, we got 3 shirts. That's how we make a living. That's how we do it.
Where can people shop? I've got a pen now. Proceed.
Fall Back.
Okay, Fall Back.
USA.
2. Like
number 2.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
.myshopify.com.
Cool.
Yep.
Fallback USA2.myshopify.com.
Yes, you're going to get everything to do not comply to a whole nother lie. We the people are pissed. I identify as a conspiracy theorist. I told you so. You can F around and find out. We the people have had enough. Everything on the show is something that I've said, and Dave was like, I'm putting that on a shirt. So everything is our ideas, our designs, our a brainchild. And my husband gets up every day, cut vinyl. My mom is in there embroidering pocketbooks. She's in there throwing, rugs together, throw rugs, pillows, aprons. So everything from my mom's pocketbooks, you're going to get there, all the way to t-shirts, hats. And now the Veterans for America First said that we could start, believe it or not, Brian, they gave me permission to start selling these to help, raising more money for lawyers. Stan know what we've been dealing with. Stan was here. Jared know what we're dealing with. He saw the paperwork and he was like, well, y'all got Stan. Yep, that's not his handwriting. Yep, that's the handwriting expert. Stan and Jared was like, yep, keep going forward, Chris. They say keep fighting for this place.
So do you have a t-shirt that says the hood ain't far from the woods, or the woods ain't far from the hood? What do you say?
You're talking about the hoods and the woods ain't that far apart?
Yeah. Do you have one of those?
No, but I'm sure Dave. He said we can make that happen.
You got to get one of them, because I think that would be the shirt. Say it again. The hoods and wait.
The hood and the woods ain't that far apart.
I like that because it's bringing people together,
And
it's bringing the urban population to the rural population, and full circle. Say, hey, look, we're in this fight together. It's not you're over here and I'm over there. That's America, the hood and the woods. Really,
I am hood. I'm hoodish, woodish. So that's how I talk. That's how I present myself. I'm just me. So I call myself hoodish, woodish.
Love it. I think I got a little bit of everything in me.
I am too. I'm a mutt. That's why I say don't ever call me an African American. I'm just American that happen to be black. So you want the Irish part of me, because I can get down with the Klan too. You want the Indian side of me, because I like to do the tomahawk chop too. Or do you just want the black side, because the hoods and the woods ain't that far apart?
Wow. You need to be filling that time slot for Dan Bongino. I tell you what, man, you'd have this. This country would be praying again.
Well, that's it. That's all we have is prayer. There's prayer changes thing. Before people like, I don't have that much money. You got a prayer life. You got a mouth. And even if you can't pray, you can hum. You could cry. for the pain and the suffering of amen. You can pray for the pain and the suffering of America, for our elders, for our children, for our men folks, for our women folks, because debauchery is done. Hit the fan. You better go ahead now. So
see, I got my Bible right here. It's look, the Warriors Bible. I even got it all like, man, look at that. I've been digging into that sucker.
Look at that. And the signs and wonders, the dreams and the visions are here for the people that are listening to his word. And I want to listen. I want to hear well done. I appreciate Stan. I appreciate Jared. Heck, even if one day if I meet the president, I'm going to sit on his gold toilet. But who really is important to me is my heavenly Father. It's that simple to me. It is that simple. I don't want to burn for eternity because I believe it's true. I don't want to sit there and blaspheme him because I know that's the one thing that could take you from the love and the will of God. I don't want to ever be separated from him for eternity. Just thinking about that hurts my feelings. So if I got to humble myself because I am a nobody, my sin is all displayed for the world to see, and you know he sees it daily. Then be upfront with who you are, so can't nobody do a gotcha to begin with, because those skeletons one day, those messes that you got yourself into, somebody else is back there too, in that same mess, in that same darkness, in that same pit of despair, not knowing that there's hope, not knowing that there's the love of Christ, not knowing that there's a rainbow at the end of that tunnel. It's the covenant between God and man. And as long as you continue getting up every day, as long as you continue being the best person you can be, as long as you know you ain't taking a white envelope, as long as you put God, family, country first in everything you do, you keep going forward. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
I don't need to say anything. See, this is why you run a great solo show. I mean, really. I mean, this is.
And it's not scripted. For anybody asks, my show is not scripted.
You got it going on.
You will literally see my mind go blank. And then I just jump on to another topic. So I don't want to read a script. I just want to be a real person.
And that's why it's Real News with Lucretia Hughes, folks. And you can go out and support her today at fallbackusa2.myshopify.com, folks. Once again, fallbackusa2.myshopify.com. Go out and get you some t-shirts, some gear, some merchandise. Support Lucretia and all of her advocacy ventures and everything she's out doing to make America a better place for you, me, and our future generations. Lucretia, thank you so much for joining us today.
This is the Today with Tally podcast.